Okay, next question is a good one too. Henry says, hello, for a money site with a blog using WordPress regarding blog post URLs, which would be better from a site visitor user experience perspective and best for SEO, using the post name or custom with blog/post-title for the URL, keeping in mind that blog plus keyword focused page names to be used in the main nav menu. Thinking this way for the nav menu would be ideal. I read using /blog. So like essentially kind of a category, helps for organizing the site and explaining to Google's crawlers, which is a blog post and which is a static page. Whoever said that is full of shit. Whoever said that is absolutely full of shit. Okay? And I'm just telling you that right now because that's just dumb. And I say that because Google can tell which is a blog post and which is a page. A lot of it. I mean, remember, if you've got sitemaps submitted, it's already going to be determined because there's post sitemaps and page sitemaps. There's RSS feeds, which unless you're using specifically like a plugin to insert pages in the RSS feeds, blog posts are in the RSS feeds, pages aren't. There's, I think it's in the actual code of the page itself. So that doesn't make any difference at all. And what I recommend is just using post name. Years ago, we used to use the category /post name permalink structure, which is called a physical silo. And when we say physical and virtual silo, they're identical. Silos are identical. The only difference is the URL structure, where in a physical silo, it shows the hierarchy of how the content is stacked or what the taxonomy structure is of the pages and posts within the WordPress site itself, right? So that would be physical silo is showing category /post name permalink structure. But there's no difference between a physical silo and a virtual silo as far as how they're built or how they're interlinked. It's all the same. They're identical. And a virtual silo is just using the post name permalink structure, which is way better in my opinion, because it's shorter, it's more succinct. It reduces the likelihood of over optimizing the URL, which is often the case when you are siloing a site because you're using keywords and the URL slugs for the primary pages. So the top level categories essentially. And then, so you could end up having the keyword duplicated multiple times in the URL if you're using the physical silo structure, which is category /post name permalink. Does that make sense? So you're better off just using the virtual silo method, which is post name permalink, because then you eliminate the possibility of over optimizing the URL. And Google understands the taxonomy structure of the WordPress site anyways, especially if you've submitted your sitemaps through Search Console, and it's going to identify which is which through that anyway. So again, I'm not picking on you, Henry. I know that's why you're asking these questions here, which is what we're here for. But keep it simple. Once again, I recommend using just the post name permalink structure, and it's important how you stack your content and all that other stuff. But putting that kind of like directory or that hop in the middle as called blog is unnecessary. You're going to have most likely a blog page on your site, which is going to be in the navigation menu, which is an index page, right? It's a blog roll page or a blog archives page, right? Which is just going to show all of your blog posts. That's all that's needed. When you click into the actual blog post, it should be domain.com/post-slug, and that's post name permalink. So that's my take on it. What do you say, Marco?
No, I absolutely, I can't believe there's people advising others on this kind of crap and giving people this kind of advice. Like whoever said I don't care, but you can tell them that Marco and Bradley both said you're full of shit. How can Google not know what a page is and a static page versus a blog page? Now it used to be we did that because we wanted that extra keyword up there. We wanted that. We wanted to establish that in there and in our silo. And because we didn't do that good a job of interlinking, we didn't think of interlinking the way that we do now, the way of how we show entity relevance, main entity of the page and of the silo and whatever it is that we're using to support the silo. But now if we interlink properly, then there's no need to give Google anything else, because the blog and the way that you've set up your interlinking, the category and your blog post will show Google what the silo is. Your interlinking will show Google what the silo is, and your schema will reinforce what your silo is. Now, a better idea than worrying about all this URL structure, keep it simple, like Bradley said, domain.com/and slug, no category, no nothing, no page, just put it in there, and then each page and each blog post gets schema, and you reference everything in your schema. That's the way that you're going to win moving forward. And you reinforce that through your entity tuned content. You can win with just schema, entity tuned content, and then pushing that out into your syndication network, strengthening your tier one branded, making sure there's entity tuned content all over your tier one branded. And if you have a VA, it's a couple of days of work to get everything tuned just right. And you'll be amazed by how much love you're going to get from Google by just doing simple things that really win today. I'm going to say it again, like I've said before, brute force is alive and well. I'm using brute force every day to get killer results. But I'm also finessing with the right kind of schema, schematic architecture, and entity tuned content. And you get amazing results.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that right now, I think is one of the most critical factors besides entity, but entity tuned content is absolutely critical, and it works like crazy, especially if all your tier one content is tuned just like it was money site content.
Yep.
If you do that, I mean, it's hard for others to compete against that. It really is. And you won't, it depends on the project. Sometimes you'll see results almost immediately, but sometimes it just takes a little while. But you'll start seeing amazing results if you do that. It takes time, but if you start entity tune, like tuning the content on your tier one assets, the G site, I mean, all the stuff that we talk about, it's incredible the power that you can get. And what's crazy is you don't even need a lot of links for that stuff. Like, I mean, I know we can do bulk links like what we talk about for, the SEO shield and stuff like that. And that helps. You can also do, different kind of higher powered type links and things. But what I'm saying is if you can tune the tier one content that's linking to your money site, you do that, you only need a couple of links, a handful of links to, well, it depends on the, what you're competing against, but on a local level in the industry that I'm in, it only takes a handful of links, like literally less than 10 referring domains for most projects for me to get significant results. All my other link building's done at tier 2 and beyond to power up those tier 1 assets that I have entity tuned with specific anchor text linking back to the money site. And so again, it makes it so much easier now. I think that the landscape is easier now for that than it has been in past years, because it only takes a couple of really well-placed links within entity tuned content to get significant results. So it's a great question. The next one is from Eddie B, which looks like, and that's a good GMB there. That's insights. Looks great.